Hola, mi amigos. This is Bruce Aaron Rasmussen reporting from Costa Rica, province of Atenas. And I'm at a coffee plantation, as you can see right behind me. El Toledo coffee plantation.
My name is Brian. Basically, my wife and I found ourselves on this farm by random chance 7 years ago after we decided to take a year off from teaching. And when we moved to Costa Rica, the only reason we ended up in Atenas was because it's where our house showed up on Craigslist.
And these guys are doing permaculture.
Permaculture, so it's kind of talking like it's organic.
Yeah, and a lot of diversity.
But legally, they're not bound with it.
Right, and a lot of diverse, different plants and vegetables and all are grown in amongst the coffee plants so that they get more than just coffee, they get a livelihood.
A quality coffee bean and a low quality coffee bean is enormous, because the high quality coffee bean has a lot more flavors in it. What makes it high quality is that it was grown with natural inputs, and it's grown with lots of shade, and it's grown at a high altitude, and it's allowed to ripen slowly. Low quality beans either ripen far too fast because they have no shade, they're in high heat, or they're pumped full of chemicals, or they fell off of the tree prematurely, okay? Which is what happened with most of these. They don't have much flavor to them because they never had time to get those flavors. So at a light roast, they taste enormously different. But as you roast them more and more and more, the flavors start to converge. So you see, we're getting darker and darker. All these have only been really separated by a minute or less. And in about 2 seconds, I'm going to let this out. Hear that popping of the beans from medium to dark roast. I'll give you a little. You can see, do you see right here the oils?
Yeah.
They've started to come out, which is exactly what we want to see. Stock that you put your coffee grinds in, and then you just pour your hot water over it. But it has one huge advantage over a standard paper filter, and that is that because it's 100% cotton, it allows the oils that are in coffee to pass through the sock and into your cup of coffee.
And there's a medium roast, and there's a light roast.
Not as using this as a compost, but we always tried it. Since I was a child, I was eating coffee beans before I picked beans. And seeing all this as a waste, we started to think, well, why don't people make something? If we have eaten it before, but we didn't know it was good or not. We were afraid to kill people by doing something from it, because we didn't know it was edible or not. But remember what I told you about there. We've been researching about that. We heard people in Colombia doing a lot of things from this. The antioxidants that there are in coffee were incubated in this honey, because this is the fruity part of it. It also is rich in antioxidants, it's rich in fruity characteristics, sometimes 30% brick, sometimes 20, depending on the ripening conditions, depending on the elevation where coffee is grown, same as grapes. So if that has that much sugar, what comes in your mind? Well, I told you guys about it. We are trying to do wine from this now, this year. So it's
This is the plantation. And I'm a little bit behind, but they're the coffee. Maybe those are new coffee bushes. More coffee bushes. And then amongst the trees, permaculture they call it, not monoculture. It's a rust fungus, the orange thing. And he's saying that there's a white fungus that will attack the rust fungus. I don't see any reason to have that, but why he has less problem with the rust fungus than other farmers.
Why is it endangered? Because it doesn't produce any wood that we can use, and it doesn't produce any fruit that we can use. And so us humans, if we have a small portion of land, we want to put on it things where we know what the benefits are. I don't think it's easy to see why we would do that. Okay, it makes perfect sense to me. Here's where the problem is. If we do that, we're only picking the things whose benefits we can see. If Mother Nature has selected this through millions of years to live here, there's got to be a reason that it survived all that time. Will we always know what that reason is? No. So what the farm did is they tried to start trusting the hidden benefits that nature provides for us. Mother Nature's already provided all the answers for us in what has survived this long. So they started planting trees like this without knowing what it was, what good it would do. Now since then, that same German scientist that I keep coming back to has come back and he's done tests to find out what some of them are. I'm only going to tell you what 2 of them are, and I bet there's hundreds more that I don't know about yet. 1, it helps control erosion. Even though we let everything that falls, we just let it stay. Look at this. This tree fell 2 years ago and we haven't touched it. Unless we're going to harvest the wood to make a bench or something like that, we just let stuff be. Even though we do that, erosion's still a problem, okay? Because it's in the side of a mountain. But with the tree like this here and other ones like it spread out throughout the farm, it helps stop erosion. These roots act like a backstop. Another thing that we've learned about it, this tree actually is a legume. So if any of you are gardeners and you plant beans, you know that legumes put nitrogen back in the soil.
What's the name of the tree?
Yeah.
I believe it's called a guinasso tree, but we should check with Gabrielle to make sure. I don't know what it is in English. I want to get to what my last point is, and that is that we're not criticizing what that family is doing. We don't want to criticize what that family is doing because they're doing whatever it takes to feed their family, and that has to be the #1 priority at the end of the day. As much as we would love for our ideals to be the #1 thing, if our spouse and our kids can't eat, well then that's pretty much the end of the story right there. The Motley Fool.
The Motley Fool.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thanks. So he ended with, unless you got your skin in the game, don't be too critical of others that aren't quite as permaculture as you think they should be.